Hello everyone. I hope you are doing good and doing great. So today in this session we will talking about one of the most important concept in MVC is the magical model binder. I hope like most of the people are very well known about this term magical model binder, and definitely there is some of the colleague which are not aware about this magical model binder. So in this video, I will try to cover this magical model binder, and this one is the important concept prospective to the journal life or journal work which we are doing into the company, or as well as the interview perspective. So let's start this one. So what is a magical model binder? Magical model binder allow to bind HTTP request data with a model. This is done internally by MVC model binder. Mapping with the model is done by comparison with the name attribute of the control. So what it means is, like, we know that whenever we are sending the data from the API from the controller, so it will automatically map to the some parameter into the function, or maybe the model inside this function or the method. So how this will be happen, how they know internally, like the employee ID should match with the employee ID of that model property, and the employee name which are coming from the UI or the view to map with the employee name of the model property. So how this one is happening, because there is something is happen, so that's why this one is matched to each other. So for this one, the responsibility part is taken by the two things. The one is the value provider dictionary, and the second one is the default model provider. So what is the value provider dictionary? This is basically extracting the value from the HTTP request and store as a string. So whatever the value we are getting through the API or the through the model or the through the view onto the controller side, then everything are coming as a plain text. So to the fetching order is something like this one, like it will first checking into the request.form. So the request.form, I hope like many of the aware like what is the request.form. So here is a small example. So in this view, you can see we are passing the data in this way, html dot begin form. So here we are passing our controller name and controller action name. And if you see here the name, surname and age, and submit button, when we are doing the submit, the whole page are submit to the server side, and there you can see underscore name and underscore surname. So if in our model class there is a two or three property with the same name which we are giving as a text box name with the underscore name underscore surname and underscore age. So it will automatically get through this value provider dictionary. So what value provider dictionary is doing, so it is doing this one request.form and curly this square bracket, and after that we are passing that key. Like in this example, the key should be the underscore name underscore surname and underscore age. So based on that it will map the value to the corresponding model property. The next way is, if it is not available into the request form, then it will check into the root data dot value. So root data dot value is basically belong to the same URL, and for the reference you can see the below. So employee data slash save employee, and after that whatever we are passing here, like the name and all, so at the action level, so it this value will be coming or mapped through the function parameter. The next way is, if it is not available inside this root data value also, then it will check for the query string. So for the query string, you can see here in the example we have the get employee question mark. So question mark is basically the main difference here to make any of the request as a query string. And after that we are passing employee ID equal to 1852. And at the controller level, what you need to do is you need to put this request dot query string with the square bracket and pass that key employee ID. So it will give us the result of 1852. And the last one is, if value is not found in any of the above three way, then it will return as a null. So these are the actual way to find the value through the value provider dictionary. The next one is a default model provider. So when the mapping is done, so then the default model provider come into the picture. So what it is doing, so whatever the data we are fetch from the http request, it is the responsibility of the default model binder class to convert that string object to the actual .NET object. You mean to say, whatever the value we are getting in the form of the string, so it will map every string to our model, or you can say our model class properties. So that is the responsibility for the default model provider. So anyone or any of the interviewer will definitely ask from you like how it will be mapped with the our class property automatically when we are sending the plain text. So you can put this one this way, or because of this default model provider it is mapped here. So to implement this one, we need to implement this iModel binder interface. So in the upcoming slide we will we will cover this iModel binder interface. So how to implement this iModel binder and when we are going to use. So for example, we are getting some of the data from our view or the from our uh, UI. So after that we need to manipulate that coming data, and based on that we need to store that data. So before that we need to provide some filter here. So to provide that filter in between, before saving the data or before serving that data to the database, so we can implement our custom logic. So to custom logic, we need to use the iModel binder. So iModel binder is basically take the responsibility to make correction before going to the further request of that model. So you can see here in the iModel binder there is a one method that is a bind model. So you can see here there is a two parameter, the controller context and the model binding context. So this model binding context is contain the model related things, and the controller context like which controller we are going to hit and all. So you can see here we have the employee object, and in this employee we put it the hard code of value 1, or it can be anything also. And after that you can see my objective here is to write the custom binder is only to make our employee name or employee address name to upper case. So for this one we return this way. So you also need to return the same way. And after that, because this one is a three step process, so this is the one step to do the custom binder at application level. The second step is into the global.asax. We need to register this model binder, whatever the custom binder we return. So you need to bind in this way. And for the .NET Core, there is a configuration service method of startup class. So you need to paste or need to write this line into the configuration service method of startup class in .NET Core. Yeah, the third step and the final step to this one is the decorate our action result. So you can see here we are our action name is save employee to upper. So here you need to decorate your action method this way. So square bracket model binder, type of custom binder. So this custom binder is nothing new, it's our class name which we are given, and after that employee name. And it will you it's up to you, like you want to return this as a view or you want to save something, and based on need and all we can customize the things. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I will meet again into another video with the new concept that will be helpful for the interview perspective as well as the knowledge perspective. Thank you so much, thank you for watching this one. Let's meet again into the another video. Thank you, bye.